Hi everyone, it's another weekend of Premier League football. We do have all the teams playing this weekend. There are some derbies. Crystal Palace is playing Fulham, and Manchester United is going away to Burnley. Luton Town plays with Wolves. Manchester City is playing with Nottingham Forest. Well, most likely Manchester City will win Nottingham Forest unless an upset happens. But Nottingham Forest has been some, team. They've invested actually. They did sell some people, but they invested, and I think they've invested very well. But I do not think they can match Man City in open play at Man City's home, so it's likely that will be a win. Another thing to consider is that Manchester City played on Tuesday, which would tell, in the dynamics of the game, so the players are a little bit more tired compared to usual. So usually somebody that has a whole week, a team that has a whole week to train against a team that trained for 2 days, played a game, recovered for 1 day, then have to play again on Saturday. That could come into play. And I know Nottingham Forest, they are quite physical and they will be up to the task. So that might come into play. But the sheer uh, on the sheer analysis of the way things are, it looks like Man City will still have a way to win. Nottingham Forest does not have Ellen Haaland. Nottingham Forest does not have Alvarez. They don't have Doku. They don't have Kovacic. They don't have those top players that are used to playing 2 times a week. So I will still say that Manchester City most likely would win, but there just might be a little tweak there. It might not be a walk in the park. They might be put to the test. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. So I think I'll give that to Man City. Brentford against Everton. I think Brentford wins that. They've been in form. Everton, most likely they're going to sack Sean Dyche. It's only a matter of time. They've not been playing very well. Against Arsenal, I think they gave it a go. They did actually, you know, give a spirited effort to prevent being defeated. But the thing is, they still lost to a goal. They still lost to a goal. So I mean, they tried in the last game, but the previous ones before that, they've now found their feet. And Brentford, they have been able to, get their game on. They've had some couple of good games, so I expect Brentford to win there. Burnley against Manchester United will be interesting. I like the way Vincent Company's team has played so far. I think they've been unlucky in that they have not gotten the point that their play deserves. They are a team that looks like they are well oiled, and against the Manchester United that has not developed as we suppose. I mean, I won't be surprised if Man U could not get a win in Burnley, and even if they are not careful, they might even lose the game. They might lose the game. We know they lost away in Germany against Bayern Munich. At down, Bayern Munich is not the place you go to and just stroll in the park. So, and they scored 2 away goals. I think they should have at least gotten a draw. If you score 2 away goals, you should get a draw. Onana is proving to be who I think he is. He's just another De Gea who knows how to distribute the ball with his feet. He is still prone to the hard mistakes. So that might play out in the weekend. And there is another factor of course, they being tired from their travel, from the game. I will be surprised if they get a win. I won't be surprised if they get a draw. It will be a little surprising if Burnley could manage to beat them. But I do fancy Burnley for this particular game. Crystal Palace against Fulham, that's a London derby. Crystal Palace has been there, done that. They've been in the Premier League for so longer than Fulham has been actually, because they've not been relegated for some time. So they were able to keep some of their star player Olise. Was gonna go to Chelsea, but that didn't happen. Chelsea ended up getting Cole Palmer, who I think is a better version. So we don't know what that would what the outcome of that would be, but I actually think this could play out to be a draw under Silva. uh, Fulham has been very good too. They've been able to hold their fort. They can play, and Crystal Palace can play Royal. Since team, they tend to be balanced. They can defend when they need to, and they can attack when they need to. So for that, I would say maybe a possible draw, maybe Crystal Palace win. I will be surprised if Fulham goes there and get a win. But hey, that's why it's football. There is always an element of surprise, and that's why we like the game. So let's see what that brings. Luton Town against Wolverhampton Wanderers. I think Wolves might win that. I don't know Luton Town's game, but they are new to the Premier League. They are still trying to find their feet, so most likely they would lose to a more established side. Those are the games for tomorrow. They are five in number, and on Sunday we do have the other games. We have Arsenal Tottenham. That's the big one, the North London Derby. We have Brighton against Bournemouth. We have Chelsea against Aston Villa. Hopefully they don't lose. We have Liverpool against West Ham. That will be interesting. Sheffield United against Newcastle. That will be interesting. Now, if you are Man Cities, if you are uh, Man City, I mean, it's possible to play a game midweek and still bounce back, and it's like nothing happened. That's quite possible. But for teams like Arsenal, like Liverpool, Newcastle United, Tottenham, it becomes a different ball game. I'm not sure Tottenham played midweek, but if they do, I mean, I'm sure Newcastle played, uh, Man City played, Manchester United played. Okay, so Arsenal played. Those are the four teams in the Premier League. I'm not sure whether Tottenham played midweek, but if they don't, I think that will come into play in the London Derby because Arsenal they do have a very solid first 11. But if anything were to happen to that first 11, then those on the bench, I don't think they give the same quality. Leandro Trossard, yeah, that guy is good. So if he's on the bench and he comes on, that might help shape things a little bit. But Havertz, Jorginho, and who again is on the. I mean, the second team of Arsenal, if they are to step in, they might not give an optimal play, but hey, it's just the beginning of the season, and the game is just accumulating. So those that are not playing, that have not played that much game could come in. But on the overall, the game is being played in Arsenal's house. So I think Arsenal will still find a way to win. I think the main thing that has happened under Arteta to Arsenal is that they find a way to win. Between Saka, Martinelli, and Odegaard, they find a way to win, which is very important. And their defense has been pretty solid too. They don't concede the hard goals like they used to before. Now their game is better and they defend better. So that is a good development. I think Tottenham has played well this season. Their last game, they were able to snatch a victory. They were not supposed to win. It was supposed to be like at most a draw, but they were able to snatch a win. I think they missed Harry Kane. They have lost goals by selling him to Bayern Munich. But you know, the Brazilian guy can give you a goal, Richarlison. He can give you a goal when the chips are down, but he wouldn't. I don't see him as a 20 goal striker in a season. I see him as the kind of person that is unpredictable. I think his strength is in his unpredictability. So, I mean, he can come in, be a nuisance to some of the defenders, and give you the odd goals every now and then, but he's definitely not in the likes of. He's definitely not in the same league as Harry Kane. He's not even in the same league as Yumin Song. I think Kulusevski, yeah, that's a good scoring winger too. So I mean, it's okay. That game, I think Arsenal will win that game, but I wouldn't want to underestimate that Tottenham's coach. He seems to be a forward thinking, ball playing coach, and he seems to have gotten them going in a certain direction. I know it's only a matter of time Daniel Levy would, rise up to the plate and get a striker, and he's not gonna spend 120 million or anything like that, but he will get a striker. And there are strikers, you just have to find them, you just have to bide your time and look at the whole profile. There are strikers out there, so if you can be patient and you can, by the time he will get a striker. And when they do have that striker, I think they are going to be a very decent team because they've kept the core. Oiberg is still there in the midfield. They bought this guy from, is it Brighton now? I forgot that. Bissouma. They bought Bissouma. I'm not sure whether he came from Brighton or Norwich, either of the two, but he's a pretty solid central midfielder. They still have Woodberg. They still have the forward line except Hurricane, and they have a good defense. So they changed their goalkeeper. Ugolori served them diligently for years. I think it was time to move on, and he did, which is good. So on Sunday, I think that will be an interesting game. It will be fun to see. I want Arsenal to win the league. That is my bias this season. I don't think it's right for one team to win it 4 times in a row. They are good, yes, they are the best, but that's not the Premier League that we know. That's not the way things happen in Premier League. I mean, if you're good, you win it once. If you're very good, you win it twice. You need luck to win it twice. If you now win it 4 times in a row, I think something is wrong with the league. So it's just what I think. I don't want Man City to win it. So on Sunday, I will be rooting for Arsenal to win because we need somebody to challenge Man City. I mean, really challenge Man City and beat Man City. So that's that for the game. Brighton plays Bournemouth. I know Brighton played in Europe, so that might come into play. They have a pretty good team and an intense coach. That guy is intense. He's different. I think he's cut from another kind of cloth. You know, it doesn't. I mean, the way they play, they are so confident with their play. They are confident with their ball, and it just becomes really interesting to watch. They bought Pedro, who I think is a very good striker so far. So let's see what that will be. Bournemouth will play ball, but I think Brighton is the better team. I think Brighton has more people, more cohesion of team play to win the game, and it's Brighton's house, so I don't expect any untoward outcome other than Brighton winning that particular game. Chelsea, Aston Villa played in the midweek, so that would definitely come into play. They have a good team, and their coach, the guy that used to coach Arsenal, he has a funny way of speaking. I mean, me and my friend, we have some banter we say about him. His name is going from my head now. I can see his face in my imagination, but he used to coach Arsenal. Now he's at Aston Villa. Aston Villa will give him something that Arsenal has not been able to, give him. They will give him time to perform. They will give him time to, really implement what he wants to implement. I think he's a good coach. I think he's a good coach. He's not done badly, and he knows how to set up a team in a particular way. And that said, they do have a good forward. Only Watkins is good. He runs behind the defender. He drags defenders with him. They bought one Traore guy who is very good. They have Buendia. They have another Brazilian in that midfield. I think Costa. They have some good left-footed player. Their defense is pretty solid. I think they will give Chelsea a game. I think they will give Chelsea a game at Stamford Bridge. I mean, we know the story of Chelsea this season. That's my team, but really, they've not gotten it going yet. They don't. I don't think they will be able to make the Champions League. I don't think so, and there is a reason why I say that. Despite the huge capital outlay that they have done, they've not been able to really lay hold of the league as of yet. I know they will play. I know they will most likely come good because I think Pochettino will be given the time. The owners have no other choice. If you don't give him the time, who are you going to get again? So you need to give him the time. I think they will give him time. So those players will come good. But as it is now, on paper, Chelsea have the better players. But as a team, I think Aston Villa has played together longer than Chelsea. Chelsea striker now, I mean, yeah, he's good with running with the ball, intricate passing, making the forward line play, but he's not been good with finishing. So hopefully that changes because I like him. I think it's not every time you find a striker that could dribble and could, do other things with the ball. It's not every time. So I think he just needs to be given some time to, you know, come good. So it will be an interesting game. Uh, Sterling has had a full week to train as other Chelsea players. Leslie Ugochukwu most likely will still play in four. I think Kopama should play as a 10 because I think he offers more in the attacking sense than Conor Gallagher. Conor Gallagher gives you the heart, he gives you work rate, but what he gives you in work rate, I think he lacks in some requisite skills. So if I were to be the coach, I'll just play four at the back. There is no point playing three at the back at your house against an Aston Villa. Just play the standard four, play two pivot players, Ugochukwu and Enzo Fernandez can be in that role, and play three behind the striker and put on your striker and let the game flow. Put a Kopama right in the center behind the striker. I think he will be able to play better, and just tell him to track back and help the midfield. It's as simple as that. That's the way I think Chelsea should be set up. I think he should be Sterling, and I think he should be Modric. I know he hasn't gotten going, and he's going to a year now. But once he gets settled and he gets going, I think he just needs a goal. He just needs a game where he can display his, talent. Once he gets to that point, I could see him moving in the right direction. And whatever you do, don't tell Modric to defend. He she cannot do that. I feel he's more used to attacking, and I think he has a good understanding with Jackson. So I would play him again and see what the game brings. Of course, if Raheem Sterling steps to the plate, if the Raheem Sterling that you know played at Liverpool and Man City comes to the game, he gets a goal. He messes up the defense of Aston Villa. Aston Villa's strength is not defense. Their strength is the balance between their midfield attack. I think that's where their strength is. So if you can load them and pin their defense back, you can disjoin that defense and midfield and isolate players and do an overload on them. By and large, I think Chelsea should get a draw. I'll be surprised if they win. I will be disappointed if they lose. But I mean, knowing Chelsea, they those guys, those guys can play well and still lose. The next one will be Liverpool against West Ham United. West Ham United is a good team. Was kind of disappointed that they couldn't, put up more fight against Man City last week. They scored four, so I was thinking they would just defend and put Antonio up front to, mess up with Man City's defense. They were not able to hold it out. I mean, not for lack of trying. Man City is not especially easy to play against, so I can understand that. But in this game, I fancy Liverpool also. They've bought the right type of players and they've reinvented their midfield. They've reinvented their midfield, bought the right type of players. So, I mean, they should be able to do some good stuffs. So, we'll see there. I know Liverpool played in Europe. I think West Ham. I'm not sure West Ham played. So that will come into play again. It's Liverpool's house, so things should go Liverpool's way. But knowing the Premier League, anything can still happen. Anything can still happen. So we'll see. We'll see how that goes. I think Liverpool will be able to win that game simply because they have a better forward line and they have now a more solid midfield. They have a more solid midfield. So we'll see how that goes. West Ham United could be a boogie team. I mean, they could defend against you and throw Antonio forward, and they have some good midfielders. This left-footed guy, Paqueta, that Man City wanted to buy. That's a good midfielder. They have the guy that scored for them to win the Europa trophy last season. So they can they can give you some problems on their day. I mean, they beat Chelsea in their house, and Chelsea have played them. They have Julio Alvarez. I think he's a good central midfielder. Chelsea wanted to buy him last season, but it wasn't to be. So on the tenet of play, I still give it to Liverpool because I think when Liverpool comes to the park, few teams can really match them. And they have Slobo Sly, they have this Dutch guy, the one that runs very well. They have McAllister, they bought one guy from Bayern, and they bought one Japanese. So they really have stocked up their midfield, and they have gotten players that are younger in age. So that should be that should be interesting. That should be a good game. We'll see what that brings. But I still think Liverpool will win. The last one will be Sheffield United against Newcastle. I mean, Newcastle went to AC Milan and they got a draw, which is a good result. I like Eddie Howe. I think Newcastle have money. The owners, they are better placed than their previous owner, but I like their approach. They've not thrown the kitchen sink at the transfer market. They have, waited, bided their time, and they pretty much just get players when they need it. They got Tonali, they got this Isaac, which is a good nine, and they have another English forward there who is pretty decent. So I don't know why they let go of Alan Maximi. I like him as an 11. I think he, can cause trouble for anybody. But hey, they got John Barnes. John Barnes is not a bad player. He came from Leicester City. He's direct. He's also quick. I mean, it does not have the flair of Alan Maxima, but on his own day, he could trouble anybody. So that is something to also consider as well. Um, I think Newcastle might win at Sheffield United. Sheffield United is also a very good team. Oh, and Newcastle has that guy from America, Almiron. Is a life wire. It could be real tricky. So I would take Newcastle to win. The only reason why I'm going for them is because of that, uh, forward line that has a lot of pace and skill against Sheffield United. Maybe not on the same plane, but anything can happen in football. So we'll see. That's more or less the highlight for the weekend. The other thing that I wanted to talk about that is on my mind is I was checking on YouTube, just scrolling by, and of course the age long comparison and analysis that who is The better between Messi and Ronaldo, I think is Messi. Personally, Ronaldo has some, of his attributes, has some attributes that Messi can never have, and Messi has some attributes that Ronaldo can never have. So each one is golden in their individuality, but on the tenet of everything put together, I'll still pick Messi. Messi can unlock a team. Ronaldo might just shoot the ball to kill all of the team, all of the people that are his opponents. So basically, those are the differences there. I think Messi has won it all. Ronaldo has not won a World Cup. I don't think he's gonna win a World Cup. So uh, we'll see. I'm trying to answer somebody that is uh, texting me here. So in the grand scheme of that analysis, I think Messi has not been Messi by himself. You know, he has had the fortune of playing with some of the best, some of the very best. So I think Javi, Iniesta, Neymar, Suarez. I mean, those that have fed him the ball. Those have been the ones that have shaped his career. I think in Argentina, Macalista was there. Enzo Fernandez was there. He's had the privilege of playing with very good players also. So that shouldn't be forgotten. So, uh, but if I am to pay money to go watch either of them, I'd rather pay to watch Messi than to watch Ronaldo. Not that Ronaldo is not good. I think Ronaldo is one in a kind. He doesn't come along every day. He's an athlete. That's one thing I actually appreciate, and I must say that about Ronaldo. Messi was born skillful. Messi was just born skillful. He just gets on the pitch of play, express himself, and just dribble everybody. It's natural. It comes to him naturally. That's the way he is. But Ronaldo wasn't born with as much talent as Messi, but he did have this ambition, this drive, this passion to be who he is. So I think I respect that. I respect that. He's trained to perfection, right from Porto to Man U to Real Madrid to Juventus to Man U again to Saudi Arabia. I mean, you need to watch some of that guy's clip even now at close to 40 and still having a go and still training like that. I think that's a really I think that's a really good testimony for him. I think we will not appreciate him enough until he drops his boot. Then we will look back and really see. Sorry, I need send his message. So, uh, that, and there are some goals, of course, that he has scored that Messi can never score. Messi has also scored some goals that Ronaldo can never, ever score. But you know that game against Juventus, that overhead bicycle kick, Messi cannot score that. I don't even think Messi can lift all of his body that high to meet the ball. Messi wasn't built for height. He was built to, defeat gravity. He was built to, you know, make enforce gravity on people in motion. But Ronaldo was built to be an athlete. So it's a good comparison, and I think overall I picked Messi just because of his artistry and flair. Ronaldo, yeah, I respect him because of his tenacity, his will, and his sheer, you know, determination. I respect that. I respect that. So there is this another who is the best central midfielder of all time? Maybe top five central midfielder of all time. Uh, that's a good question too. I've seen some central midfielder that are quite amazing. I like Paul Scholes, Lampard, Gerrard, yeah, those are good. They score tons of goals, Lampard especially. Tons and tons and tons of goals. But Paul Scholes in England, I pick Paul Scholes because it's not only that he can score goals, he can dribble, he can pass the ball. Paul Scholes could pass people out of the football pitch. He can dribble, he can pass, he can tackle the ball. I mean, give you the kind of Roy King kind of tackle. So I think between those three in the Premier League, I pick Paul Scholes is evergreen. You can take up his clip and watch what he has done, and you never get you know tired of it. You never get tired of watching him. So I like him. One other central midfielder, attacking midfielder that I like is Anderson Deco. He's a Portuguese player, short almost like Messi's height. He played in Porto. He was part of the Porto team that won the Champions League under Jose Mourinho. He was part of Porto team that won the league that won the league and the Champions League under Jose Mourinho. He played for Barcelona. Then he came to Chelsea. He's a good player, and he knows how to play in the midfield. I used to enjoy watching him. He's short, and there's a way he dances with the ball, and just knows how to send the ball on an errand, and the ball would go exactly where it's been sent. So that's a really good player. In Barcelona, he was part of the team under Frank Rijkaard that made Messi tick because he and Javi, those two, they kept on feeding Ronaldinho, the Etos, and the Messis. Those ones got the headlight, but right there in the engine room, you have an Anderson Deco, and he knows how to nutmeg people at close quarter and just roll on with the ball. It's a thing to, cast the mind back on and just see how people could be that brilliant. I think he was one of those brilliant ones. Of course, another one would be Andres Iniesta. Andres Iniesta, I think, is really good, and he just has everything combined. He's mobile. He can dribble at close quarters. He can score. I mean, there was a time, there was a golden generation of the Spanish midfielders, Busquets, Iniesta, Xavi, Fabregas. Those were a golden generation, and of course, they won everything. They won the World Cup, they won the European League, they won everything that is to be won. Because that generation, I believe they know how to play football. They really know how to play football. They really know how to, get down to the basics of football. I mean, the Spanish team that dominated the world, and it's not like they have the most physical team. They're not physical, but they are very, very, very technical. They know how to get the ball from one point to the other. They know how to get the ball from one point to the other. Uh, so I like Iniesta. He was the guy that scored that goal against the Dutch team in the final of the World Cup. I think he's retired now, but he's had a very fulfilling career. I think he played majority of his football at Barcelona and was able to, you know, help them win the league. Of course, I like Zidane. I think Zidane has a way of making the ball looks like it's an extension of his foot. You never win the ball from Zidane because just when you think you have won it, he just takes it back. He gives it like he's lost it. You think you've won it, he just takes it back. It's that good. It's that good. So I like him. I like the way he plays. I like those memorable goals. He's one of those guys that came up against Brazil and single-handedly destroyed them. Just show them who the boss is. Just went in there and when who was it called phenomenon Ronaldo when he was still at his peak. Zidane outplayed the whole team and got the World Cup. So we'll see. Um, Let me see. There is a flaw in Zidane's game though, and that's his temper. He could do the odd fouls and make decisions that are not the best. But more often than not, he's a genius when is on the pitch of play. Those are my central midfielders of choice. The forward line, that's a very interesting one because uh, many people qualifies for this one. We've had a lot of good people. Oh, sorry, I missed out someone in central midfield. I missed out says Fabregas. Says Fabregas, of course, that is a Mercuria player. I think he just retired not too long ago. Those are the kind of players that make. He started his career at Barcelona. He was part of that team that grew up with Messi. Uh, and he wasn't getting his chance because Barcelona team was really star-studded. He came to Arsenal and of course just took Arsenal apart. I think he should have won a league at Arsenal. He deserves that. He played with Thierry Henry, played with Patrick Vieira, Van Persie, Samuel Nastri, Adebayor, Ashavin, Leb. Those good players. Fabregas played with them, and Fabregas was practically the one from the midfield, just telling them what to do. Fabregas can find his relative at the top corner of the stadium with a pass. Is that good? Trust me. So he left back for Barcelona. He didn't quite work out too well for me. I don't think he was meant to go back to Barcelona, but thankfully he came back to Chelsea and he won the league twice with Chelsea, two times. What he was not able to do at Arsenal. I mean, and when he was being interviewed, he said the best time of his career it was at Chelsea. So I mean, that's a good testimony. I like that any day. I like that any day. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes with him. I think he has gone to coaching now. I think he wants to be a coach. I think he will be a good coach. Fabregas is, quite determined. He's the guy that I think he threw pizza on Alex Ferguson in the tunnel. I mean, he could be, pretty pissed off when he loses, but I like him. He played well at Chelsea. Gave some famous assist. He gave one to Andre Shaw, a very beautiful team goal. He gave one to Diego Costa. I mean, many times he's been the one that gives the assist that is needed. There was a particular game that Chelsea weren't playing well, and Diego Costa was shouting, and the coach just shouting, and he went to meet the coach and told the coach to put on Cesc Fabregas, put on Cesc Fabregas. And once Cesc Fabregas came on, he gave Costa the assist. Costa scored. Chelsea won 3 points. So he's that good with what he does. That's a midfielder of note too. So the forward line. My favorite forward line of all time. That's a big one. People say Pele. People say all those things. I wasn't here when Pele played, so I don't know most of his game. Obviously, he must be very good for people to still rate him as possibly the best football player to ever play. So I respect that, but I don't know him. I only saw some of his clips. But in terms of striker, Ronaldo, the Brazilian Ronaldo, at his peak, PSV, Inter Milan, he was unplayable. That was not a player that you could play against. He could dribble in a way that, you begin to wonder that how can somebody be this crafty with the ball with the height he has? Of course, he had a lot of knee problems in his career, and understandably so. The way and the speed with which he moves and the kind of turns he makes on the ball, I can see why he would have those knee problems, but that was a really, really good defender. Striker. So of course another one, Thierry Henry. Yeah, that's one of my favorite. Thierry Henry is elegant. I mean, he's as elegant as they come. I don't think you can be more elegant on the ball than Thierry Henry. So he's, you know, one of those strikers that reminds me of the modern footballer. Thierry Henry is not your striker that you put to lead the line. No, just let him be in the forward line. I think his best game actually is when he's coming from that 11 position at speed. He knows how to cut in and of course score the game. So Thierry Henry definitely he played massive football for Arsenal. He's Arsenal's top goal scorer. So there's a reason why he is because he is good. He went to Barcelona and he was pretty much adaptable. He was pretty much adaptable and he was able to pull off some really cool stuffs. He was able to pull off some really cool stuff. So I like Thierry Henry. I think he's one in a generation. They don't come often. So there is the phenomenon, there is Henry, then Samuel Eto'o. That's a really good finisher too. Samuel Eto'o, of course, played most of his game for Barcelona, went to Inter Milan, was able to be a team player in Inter Milan and they won the Champions League, won the title there. He came to Chelsea and he was still able to score some really good goals. So I like Samuel Eto'o. Didier Drogba, of course, that's the beast. That's the one who Drogba doesn't need a chance to score. He just needs to be on the pitch. If he's on the pitch, he'll get a goal. So, and when he's really playing, you can't defend against him. You cannot. He's just built that way. He's strong. He's like really strong. And, he knows how to use that body effectively. He knows how to use the body effectively. He knows how to use the body effectively. So, Didier Drogba, when he first came from Marseille, he did not look like, he was going to be the striker that he turned out to be because for some games, hopefully I'm hoping that is what is going on with Jackson as well. But for some games, he didn't really play as well as he could. But once he started scoring, man, he never stopped. And against Liverpool, against some of those other top clubs, he began scoring those goals. His goal against Liverpool was really good. His goal against Barcelona, yeah, that's when the name Drogba started really ringing, and he was able to do some incredible things. Luis Suarez, that's another. Luis Suarez is a street striker. He's a street player. I mean, he would do anything to win a game. That's the thing about Luis Suarez. He would do anything to win a game. Bite you, kick you. He would do anything because the game is in his blood. Is in his blood. So I like him. I respect that tenacity. Of course, there is El Nino, Fernando Torres, who I think was really good at his prime. It was a rare combination of raw strength. Fernando Torres has a really good core body strength. You could see it in the way he runs. He's tall, and when he runs, he's sturdy. That's not, that's not a common mix. Most people, if they are tall, then they pay for that tallness by, maybe being lean, having this high center of gravity. But Fernando Torres, when he's running, you can see it. When he's running, is solid. Is you can, move him up the ball quickly. And God help you, if Fernando Torres starts running before you, you're not gonna catch him. That's why they call him the El Nino. You're not gonna catch him. He played very well at Atletico Madrid, came to Liverpool, played very well, came to Chelsea, didn't really play very well at Chelsea. He did score the goal in 2012 that made Chelsea qualify to the final of the Champions League, and of course, Chelsea won that Champions League final against Bayern Munich. So, Fernando Torres, yeah, that's a really good striker as well. So those are the things that are on my mind. If you have any comment, contribution, just feel free to chip in and we can take it from there. Bye for now. See you again some other